Hi learners, welcome. I'm Mr. Carrington and I'm so glad you are here because I'm in dire need of a text detective. Are you up for the challenge? Awesome. I have my detective gear here. So let's get started on today's case. I've been enjoying this interesting historical fiction text titled Dear Mr. Rosenwald, The School That Hope Built, written by Carol Boston Weatherford. It's a collection of short poems that come together to tell us a story. The title of each poem is at the top of each page. As I've been reading this book, I've come across words that I can read, but I do not understand what they mean. It's important to realize when you're reading if you don't know what a word means so that you can figure it out and deeply understand the text. Part of reading comprehension involves using other words in a sentence, paragraph, or passage to understand an unknown word. An author often includes clues to help the reader better understand the meaning of a word, sentence, paragraph, or passage. These hints are called context clues. Context clues are elements preceding and following an unknown word, which can help define or identify it. We can find them by reading all around the word. When there aren't any context clues, we refer to reference materials, such as a dictionary, to find word meanings. I need your help in finding the meaning of an unknown word using context clues. Do you think you can help me? Great! We're going to keep track of finding the meaning of unknown words using context clues in our case notes. To determine the meaning of an unknown word using context clues, we are going to use a graphic organizer in our case notes. Watch as I label the first box word. In this box, we are going to write the unknown word. Next, let's label our box context clue. In this box, we are going to write keywords or hints from the text that help us understand the unknown word. Excellent! Now I labeled the third box definition. In this box, we are going to write the meaning of the unknown word using context clues from the text. Finally, let's label our last box sentence. In this box, we will correctly use the word in a sentence, showing understanding of the unknown word. Good! So, as I read our text, I was able to determine the meaning of sowed in the page titled Taking Root. Let's take a look at the page from Dear Mr. Rosenwald titled Taking Root. Text detectives, can you help me find the meaning of sowed using context clues? Are you up for the challenge? Great, let's begin reading. The church deacons voted to give an acre of land for a new school, space for a building, playground and garden, land that would have been used for graves. Now, a seed is sowed instead. The sentence containing our unknown word sowed reads, now, a seed is sowed instead. Watch as on my graphic organizer, I write the word sowed in our first box. Now, I will reread the sentence to look for context clues that can be used to help us understand the meaning of the unknown word. I know that a seed is planted. I wonder if that is the meaning of the word sowed. On my graphic organizer, I'm going to write in this sentence, sowed used as a verb, explaining what happens to a seed. This is our context clue. After rereading the sentence and finding some context clues, I can now define the word sowed. If I still felt unsure, I could scan the page for additional clues. For example, the title of the poem on this page is Taking Root. I know that plants take root or grow in the soil, so that would be another context clue that I could use. In the third box, I'm going to write to plant a seed. Based on the context clues and definition, I'm going to use it in a sentence so that I don't forget what it means. All right, I sowed some sunflowers, but they haven't sprouted yet. Great job watching me figure out the meaning of the unknown word sowed using context clues. I hope you pay close attention because you'll be doing it on your own soon. Now, let's practice finding the meaning of an unknown word on another page in our text. As I was reading the page titled Blueprints, I was unable to determine the meaning of beamed. I need your help as text detectives to determine the meaning of beamed in the text. Are you ready for the challenge? Great, let's read blueprints. Professor James came around to see how close we are to breaking ground. After Uncle Bo told how much money had been raised, the professor beamed. You're halfway to the goal. Can you help me figure out the meaning of the unknown word beamed using context clues? Remember, context clues are the clues the author gives us to help us figure out the meaning of an unknown word or phrase. What sentence contains beamed? That's right. Our sentence is, after Uncle Bo told how much had been raised, the professor beamed, you're halfway to the goal. Because beamed is our unknown word, we should place beamed in our first box. Now, let's reread the sentence and look for any context clues that might help us figure out the meaning of the word beamed. After beamed, it reads, you're halfway to the goal. Goals are things we want to accomplish, so people will be obviously happy about being halfway there. That phrase could help us understand the meaning of beamed. So, our context clue is? Right, it's you're halfway to the goal. What happens to our face when we beam? Right, we smile, because in this case, we are happy about being halfway to the goal. So, after rereading the sentence and using context around the word, can we define the word beam? We sure can. In the third box, we are going to place to smile because they are happy or proud. Based on the context clues and definition, we are now ready to use the word beamed in a sentence. All right, can you share your sentence with me? Shout it out. Nice work. Here's my sentence using the word beam. I beamed when my text detectives figured out the meaning of an unknown word using context clues. Great work, text detectives. Can you help me figure out the meaning of another unknown word using context clues? You can? Excellent. Let's keep going. The next page that we will read from Dear Mr. Rosenwald is titled Sharecropping. As we read, you will need to figure out the meaning of the unknown word fretting using context clues. You watched me do the first page, we did the last page together, and now it's your turn on your own. Are you ready, text detectives? Let's get started. Daddy was wrong. He came home with rock candy for me and little brother. But bad news for Mama. We owe more to the white man who owns the land that we made selling the crop. Same story as last year. After supper, I leafed through an old Sears catalog. Wishing. Later, I heard Mama fretting about the baby on the way. Another mouth to feed. I hope it's a girl. What word is our unknown word? Correct. Fretting. Reread the sentence that contains the word fretting in our passage. Later, I hear Mama fretting about the baby on the way. Another mouth to feed. What could be our context clue in the sentence? Right. Our context clue is that there is another mouth to feed. Because there is another mouth to feed, Mama is fretting about what it means for the family. Let's place another mouth to feed on our graphic organizer under context clues. What does fretting mean in the sentence? Later, I heard Mama fretting about the baby on the way. What can we replace fretting with to make sense? Right, we can place fretting with worrying in the sentence. After rereading the sentence and identifying context clues, how would we define the word fretting? Right, fretting means to worry. Based on the context clue provided in our definition, we are now ready to use the word in a complete sentence. Okay, time to share your sentence with me. Shout it out. Nicely done. Here's my sentence using the word fretting. I was fretting about how to figure out the meaning of an unknown word in a text, but now I know to use context clues to help me. Text detectives, You have done a great job today using context clues to determine the meaning of unknown words. And with that, we have officially cracked the case. We were able to use context clues from the story combined with what we already know about the Rosenwald schools and what was happening in the story to figure out the meaning of the unknown word fretting. High five! This case is closed. Remember, when you're reading and come across words you do not know, use your inferencing skills and context clues to figure out their meaning. Be sure to join me next time for another literacy investigation. See you then.